second commentator is former Secretary of Defense Wiiam Perry. I will give a fuller introduction when I introduce him for the keynote speech. But let me just say that when Secretary Perry was Secretary of Defense during the Clinton administration, it was during that time that the Special Action Committee on Okinawa gave a report, and the United States and Japan agreed to a plan to close Futenma Marine Corps Air Station and in its place build a Futenma replacement facility in Tenoko. So Dr. Perry.
Thank you, Mike. Is this working? Can you hear me back there?
Yes, I think the mic's on.
All right. I should start off with a disclaimer. I am not in the American government today, nor am I likely to have profound influence on decisions made by the Trump administration. So you should understand, qualify anything I say with that understanding. I am, however, very much aware of the issue which Governor Onaga was talking about today. I'm aware of it, first of all, because I was perhaps the prime mover in the U.S. government for the Futenma replacement plan. Several decades ago, when I was Secretary of Defense. And most recently, a year ago, I visited Okinawa and actually went up to the Futenma base. So I do understand and I'm very sympathetic to the issues which Governor Onaga was talking about. I do want to provide some context for this discussion of the base. Why is the base there in the first place? Why is the United States feel necessary to have military forces in the Asia-Pacific region at all, and specifically at Futenma? These reasons don't cast in concrete why any particular base is there or what it will be in the future, but they do provide a context for understanding why we are doing today what we are doing. And of course, it all ties to the broad issue of maintaining security in the Asia-Pacific region. And specifically, that's in general, and specifically dealing with any threats today from North Korea. I want to point out that the last 70 years or so, there have been an unprecedented period of peace in the Asia-Pacific region. No historical precedents for that. And that peace has led to an amazing economic growth, and in particular has contributed to the vibrant economy of both the Republic of Korea and Japan. This success, economic success, has many factors, but underlying all of them is the security in the region and the vibrant trade that has flourished in this region. And again, I must say, we should not take this vibrant economy and the peace for granted. It is unprecedented. There's been nothing like that 70-year period of peace in history, anywhere in history. As we consider that, we should also understand there are two potential issues that could disrupt this peace, both of which everybody in this room is familiar with. The first one has to do with the dispute over islands in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly in the South China Sea and the Senkaku Island. The latter being very close to the hearts of many of the Okinawans, as well as being physically close to Okinawa. It's my belief that while the issues in the South China Sea are contentious, that all the parties involved in that will maintain a peaceful approach to dealing with those issues, and we will not see that disrupt into military conflict. Both the United States and China in particular have overwhelming economic interest in there not being a military conflict over the South China Sea, and I think both governments will maintain the good judgment to see that that does not happen. The other potential military issue is a possibility of a military conflict with North Korea. Anybody who's been reading the newspapers in the last couple of months understands that is not an academic issue. And the factors which lead me to be confident we will not have a military outbreak over the South China Sea do not carry over to the issue of a potential military conflict with North Korea. I have a very close historical familiarity with that issue. When I became the Secretary of Defense in 1994, it was the first crisis I faced. We almost had, in 1994, a war with North Korea. Many of you, perhaps are too young to remember that incident, but it was a very real issue. I thought at the time there was perhaps a 50-50 chance we were going to end up with a military conflict with North Korea. So that was a matter of some great concern. That problem has not gone away, and it's now seriously aggravated by the existence of a nuclear arsenal in North Korea, so that if there is a military conflict, there's a very real potential that that conflict could go nuclear, with catastrophic results in many nations in the Asia-Pacific region, certainly including Japan, and certainly including Okinawa. That potential for conflict led last week to a very surprising announcement, and that is the intention of the leaders of our North Korea and the United States to have a summit meeting. The details of that are yet to be worked out. Now I have more to say about that in my speech after lunch. Nevertheless, it is a matter of some very real concern. Why is that summit meeting important to Okinawa? It's because while the U.S. military presence in the Asia-Pacific is directly related to maintaining peace and security in the Asia-Pacific region, the forces at Futenma are particularly focused on the possibility of a North Korean conflict. Particularly focused to that. When I was Secretary of Defense, I reviewed many times the contingency plan that the United States has for responding to North Korean invasion of South Korea. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it was going to happen then. I don't think it's going to happen now. But we have the responsibility to be prepared for it happening and to have a response. Those of you who have looked at maps of Korea will understand that the main metropolitan region of South Korea, the Seoul region with 20 million people, is located within about 50 miles of the border between North and South Korea. And any military invasion from the north would head directly for Seoul. The U.S. military plan is based on the understanding that any military conflict with North Korea, the South Korea and the United States would win. But the issue is, how can we win while at the same time minimizing the damage to Seoul? And that requires a very rapid response to any presumed invasion. A key to that response, I'm sure to report to you, is a rapid reinforcement from the military forces based at Futenma. Both the air and the ground forces are based there. They could make a difference in protecting the city of Seoul from any such invasion. That's an unlikely contingency. It's a contingency that we have prepared for. The more important factor is to get a resolution to the issue of North Korea so there never is such a military complex. That's what the summit meeting that is scheduled, that has been announced, is going to be all about, and we can all hope for the success of that summit meeting. So in my talk later on today, I will be talking more specifically about how that summit meeting could affect the security of the region in particular, in general and in particular, how could it affect the people of Okinawa. So I look forward to talking to you this afternoon on that issue. Thank you very much.